Word of God says that we're to have the mind of Christ. What is the mind of Christ? His only objective on this earth was to do the will of the Father. Are you listening to me?
Yes.
You want the mind of Christ? Let your only objective to be to do the will of the Father. I'll not compromise. Recently, I was asked a question about homosexuality on worldwide TV.
Yes, yes.
Somebody said the other day, national TV. No, it's not national TV.
International.
It's worldwide, international.
International, yeah.
It goes everywhere. If somebody in Iran wants to watch it, they can.
Yep.
If they have a satellite TV.
Even if they have the internet.
Yeah, even if they have the internet, that's right. But my point being, I was asked a question whether it was sin. I didn't dance around the subject.
No.
I looked at Brother, oh Lord, I forgot his name, but I looked at the little brother sitting next to me. They gave me the question, and they said they went to pitch, the show. And I looked at him, oh boy. He goes, here's some scriptures for you. I said, the same ones I got. Amen. Eddie Harris. I was trying to think of his name. I wasn't afraid.
No?
My job is to preach the truth.
Yes.
And that's just who I am. Have I always been courageous? No, I'm not. Kind of a chicken, if you ask me. If you want to know the truth. But you know who I'm chicken of more than I am man? I fear God more.
God.
Gail asked me one day, went over to pray with her brother-in-law, who gave his life to the Lord, thank God. Had about a year before that. But I went in and I prayed for him while I was laying on the bed, ready to leave this world. Her whole family his family was all there. Many of them don't even believe in God. Gail asked me afterwards, she said, I don't know how you do it. I said, that's what I'm called to do. If you're called to do it, you just do it.
Amen.
These men, I'm not patting myself on the back. I'm going to tell you something. I've failed more than I've succeeded. You know what they say? If at first you don't succeed, try again.
Amen.
You know old Babe Ruth, he led the major leagues with home runs for probably 50 years. But he also led the major leagues with strikeouts. They say that Edison failed hundreds of times before he was successful. Amen? God doesn't look at your failures. He just looks at you as long as you keep trying to succeed. And so I look at Daniel and I look at Shadrach and Meshach and Abednego, because of their consecration, because of their dedication, because they refused to bow down in the midst of an environment of everyone bowing down. Think of the pressure. Even if you weren't pressure, even if it wasn't a danger of being cast in to a burning furnace fire, just the peer pressure, just everybody looking at you, man, what's wrong with you? Have you lost your mind?
Exactly.
You standing for an invisible God? You don't adapt to society? Don't you understand that age, that old way of thinking is out? Don't you understand that you can't help who you love? You know, I watch this show on TV. It's called 90 Days In. These guys go into a county jail for 90 days. Man, I wouldn't go in there for 90 minutes. And in the men's side, they was talking, man, that guy's homosexual. And then they start interviewing people. Say, man, I'd kill a homosexual. So we'll kill him. And then it shows the women's side. And there's like 30 women in there, and 20 of them are engaging in lesbian affairs. I'm like, it turns my stomach every time I watch it. And yet I still watch it.
You still watch it, yeah. That makes
It's like a
sense.
train wreck, you know. So he said, why do you watch Honey Boo Boo? I said, it's like a train wreck. You can't take your eyes off of it.
Train wreck.
I mean, who knows when you're driving down the street? Nobody wants anyone to have an accident, but when you see an accident, everybody,
Bottlenecking, yeah.
it's on that side of the road and it slows down to 20 miles an hour so everybody can look and see what's going on the other side. That's just our nature. We're curious. Amen.
Yeah.
But Daniel and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, it says that they, let me read it again. So they were, God gave them knowledge and skill in all learning and wisdom. And Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Now at the end of the days that the king had said he should bring them in, then the prince of the eunuchs brought them in before Nebuchadnezzar. And the king communed with them. And among them all was found none like Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Therefore stood they before the king. Now think about it. All of these men that he had brought in from all of these different countries. It didn't say that they only took 4 from Judah. They may have taken hundreds from Judah. But there were 4 men that stood out. You want to stand out? You want to stand out? Gentlemen, you want to stand out? Ladies, you want to stand out in the crowd? Consecrate yourself to God. Non-compromising. And I'm not just talking about compromising when everyone's bowing. I'm talking about when you're at home and there's no one else to bow. You still stand for the Lord. Amen? Stand for the Lord in your own house. Stand for the Lord when your young ones want to come in and bring their vile corruption into your house. Stand. I love my 16-year-old granddaughter more than anything in this world. But she thinks she can just do whatever she pleases and bring it into my house. You ain't doing it. You're going to come home. But you're not going to bring your mess with you.
Right. Amen.
My son did the same thing. You love him. You pray for him. But don't let him bring no mess into your house.
Nope.
Are you listening to me?
Yes.
Don't get under the spirit of condemnation either. You listening to me?
Yeah.
Don't get under the spirit of condemnation. Just stand for what's right.
That's right.
You got grown men there. You can't change them. You can pray for them.
Amen.
The devil will put condemnation on you. Don't let that happen.
That's right.
My son lived in the back apartment. And because it was his own apartment, I couldn't tell him what he could or couldn't do in his house. But when he moved, I noticed the spirit changed. I didn't notice the darkness until after he left.
Right.
And when he left, it felt like a whole new atmosphere. The dog was relaxed. The cat was laying out in the driveway. It's just, he moved and left them with him. His dog is my dog now. The cat left. I guess she didn't like it there. But,
Uh-oh.
did you turn those heaters off back there?
Yes, I do.
I later found out, his mom told me that she found out he had been playing Dungeons and Dragons back there.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Brought those spirits into the house. And though they didn't affect me, I noticed a darkness. Amen. Just an atmosphere of bondage. Amen.
Yeah.
But because of Daniel, because of these three men's dedication to God, he gave them favor with the king. Now keep in mind, this was not just like some little village king. This was not some little regional king. This king was the king of the nation at that time, was the greatest nation of the world. Just as Joseph was taken in to the greatest empire of his day and got favor with the Pharaoh and become second in charge.
Yeah.
What does that say about you and I? Mama Walters traveled the world, a lady that had no education, left home when she was 13. She spoke about some of the horrible things men would do to little girls. She never once admitted it, but it came back to me years later that when she was young, she was a prostitute. Amen. Saved her when she was, I believe, 35. And when she was 62, after ministering throughout the city of Cleveland and the black community and the Hispanic community, when she was 62 years old, I believe she was, God told her to go into all the lands. She traveled the world. Another lady by the name of Ruth Ward Heflin, raised by some Pentecostal pioneers down in the campground in Ashland, Virginia, and God sent her around the world, and she stood before kings. An old southern girl's from Virginia. Amen. I never had the privilege of meeting her. I knew her brother quite well, not first name basis, but I knew him, knew him well enough to when he seen me, he said, my brother from Cleveland. Amen. But God will raise